All right, welcome back to the Chapman Chats podcast for another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Penny.
I'm your other host, Bronson.
And we're here to talk about some exciting things coming up in the world of cars, BMW and all kinds of things, EVs. We've got a few topics that we wanted to bring up today. And the first topic that we would like to talk about that we're pretty excited about here, especially at a BMW dealership, is the launch of the very first Neue Klasse vehicle. It's going to debut here next month at the IAA. Yeah, it's going to be in Munich. It's going to be September 20th, I believe, and we're going to see it. It's going to be the very first time. There's been a ton of speculation about what is going to be in the Neue Klasse. We've seen some really interesting screenshots. I've seen some spy stuff at one of the events I was taken to by BMW, but we're still all really excited to see it. BMW launched the very first iDrive, and this is going to really, I think the biggest thing that we'll see out of this new Neue Klasse will be the new operating system. There will be some design language change that I'm really excited to see. I know some of the spy shots, people get concerned about what they look like, but you got to wait till you see the wraps off of it. I'm really excited to see that. But I think the biggest thing that we're going to see, I think the thing that's really driving cars now is the infotainment and connectivity, the way you interact with the car. And I think the Neue Klasse, the iDrive, we don't even know. Is it going to be called iDrive 10 or is it?
I'm assuming it's iDrive 10 because it's iDrive X, just like iPhone X, iPhone 10.
I'm not sure what they're going to do, but it's going to be a really interesting system. It's going to have it's going to have that huge display that kind of projects all along the bottom of the windshield. They're going to call it ShyTech. They're going to have some really interesting things. So with BMW really inventing the iDrive back in the 7 Series, I think this just continuation is going to be groundbreaking. And I think you're going to see these really neat technologies trickle down to everything because we usually set the standard in class. But what are you excited to see about in the new class?
I'm excited for the new iDrive as well. Obviously, having a, smaller SUV that's fully electric. We have the iX, which is our only fully electric SUV right now. And obviously, that's a fantastic car. I love it so much personally. But to have a little bit of a smaller car, obviously we know the X3 as well is our best-selling SUV for the most part, right? I mean, everybody wants X3s. That's why we get so many allocation for it. I think it's just going to be a major, major success. How many Model Ys do you see driving down the road? You see a lot of Model Ys, right? You see as many Model Xs just like you don't see as many iXs. So I think that the iX3 is going to be a huge success. And I also think, obviously, the design language change is going to bring some controversy. It always
does.
Always happens, just like we talked about previously with the M3, M4. People still love the car now, even though it was a really hot take at first. So I think that's going to happen. That's obviously warranted, to each their own. But who's not excited for change, right? Change is a good thing. The new heads-up display being all across, the car in the front is going to be incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
value to see that.
There's already customers we've talked to and clients we've talked to that never had heads-up display, which is, something we've been used to for over 10 years now. Now imagine it being literally your full windshield on the bottom. I mean, that's going to be pretty insane.
I can't even picture it. I'm trying to picture what this will look like. And everything I come up with, I just think they're going to surprise me. I just think there's going to be something different, which I'm really excited about. Now, what do you think about them? You kind of already hit on this, them launching. So the first vehicle that they're going to launch with the Neue Klasse will be the iX3. And there was some talk about should it be the i3, which I know we've already had an i3, but the new i3 will be based as a 3 Series sedan, not our egg-shaped EV that we kind of launched many, many years ago. But I think, what do you think about that? Do you think they should? Do you think that was a smart move? You kind of already hit on it, and I think it's a good segment.
I think it's a good segment. I think we need that in our lineup. We have the i4. So logically, if we have the i4, sure, it's, on the same platform as the 3 Series currently right now. It does look a little different. I think that because we have that, it only makes sense, to bring that i3 out, iX3 out first. And then once we have that rolling and we see the new 3 Series, which is already going to be a major success as well, obviously, in 2022, in 2023, really just before the i4, how many 3 Series were we selling? A lot.
Yeah.
We had a ton of 3 Series. So I think that once we get this new platform, all new generation for that 3 Series, we're going to see a ton of people coming in looking for that i3 because Model 3, our biggest competitor with the i4, Model 3. So I'm just really excited. I think the technology is going to be mind-blowing for us. You know what I mean? We don't even know. You know what I mean? We only see the renderings. We only see people talk about it. The car's camouflaged. It's just going to be insane. And maybe I'm going to have to get that car as my next car. Oh, you know what I mean? Because I do like the size of it. So
it's funny what you say about, people growing into these design languages, as the industry likes to call them. I like to spend a lot of time on the car forums and Reddit and things. And, you go in there and you'll see somebody and they'll be trashing, say, the new M3. I hate the looks. The last car was the best car ever, etc. And then you go back and you look at their posts from years ago when the F80 came out, and they're saying, no, the EM3 was the best M3 ever. And now they're saying the F series is the best M3 and the Gs. And then I guarantee you, if I check his post in 5 years, he's going to say the G80 was the best looking M3 ever, and the new one. It just seems to be one of those things where people are always just taken off guard. It takes a long time, especially when you have a trend-setting brand like BMW, where our design language tends to set a standard, and it might be very unique and kind of different looking, which tricks people's brains. And initially, it's different, it's weird, I'm not sure I like it. But as people then take our design language and it trickles into these more consumer, everyday brands, and it starts to pop up in weird places, then it becomes in the zeitgeist, the design language, and people recognize it and love it. And then suddenly it's the best looking BMW that's ever created until the next one comes out. And then they,
It's just a pattern. It really is over and over and over. It's like, I'll bring up the iX again. When I first saw the iX a year ago, up close and personal for the 25 model year, I was like, I think it's an ugly car. Like, that's kind of what I was saying. I was even going to get a license plate that made fun of the car's looks, right? So
and now you've had two.
Now I've had two of them, but in 26, they took note of that. The iX debuted in 23 or 24. Jog my memory.
23.
23.
Yeah.
So 23, and then you had those ugly blue, trim pieces. We didn't like that. That was on the i4 too. We didn't like that, but BMW took note. They changed it. So they're listening to people. I know they're listening to people. They have to listen to their consumer. But look at the 26. I think we can sit here and agree, once again, that's a great looking car now. If you have M Sport, the right wheels on it, spec'd properly, the car looks really good.
100%.
And that goes for any car. You could think of the nicest car too. You could think of a GT3 RS. Sure, the silhouette of the car looks amazing, but the spec of it, how it's built from the factory with that client or dealer's, preferences, that makes the car look amazing. So I really think the iX3 is going to look great. I'm curious to see if they put M Sport right away on the car. Obviously, the iX didn't get M Sport until 26, right? So those are things that I'm curious about. Same with the 3 Series. When are they going to introduce these things? Because we've noticed that, a new iDrive gets debuted. There's a pattern on that, right? The iDrive 9 was only on, X1, X2, X3, 2 Series, right? Now we're seeing iDrive 9 go away and it make it to any other cars. So that makes me wonder, what are they going to do with these new cars now? Is iDrive 10 only going to be on those 2 cars, and then they release a 10.5 for the new X7, X5?
Yeah.
Those are the questions I have, because it's very interesting the way that they do things. It keeps us, even though we love the brand and we're so up to date on it, we don't really know. We don't even know for sure.
I wish I had more. People always ask me, and I tell them, I wish I had.
We're just being honest. Yeah, we don't know.
But I think that's part of the fun of it. And what I think, another thing to hit on this that I think is going to be unique, in that this is going to be this first iX3 outside of the iX is going to be our first EV that shares a platform with a gas car that doesn't actually share the platform. So they've told us that the new iX3, when it launches alongside our current X3, it will actually look slightly different. Whereas our current i4, and you've got the 4 Series Grand Coupe, if you set them side by side, there'd be very small details that the average person wouldn't be able to tell the gas from the electric apart unless you really looked around for a moment. Whereas, and I think this is smart on BMW's part, is they're going to build bespoke platforms for their EVs. So now guess what we're going to get on the iX3 for the first time ever? A frunk, because it's not actually sharing the X3's platform, where they can't really adapt the car and have all the space they want. So I think this iX3 is going to be great in that it's going to be built from the ground up as an EV. It's not going to actually share the platform with our gas car. So you will see a slight difference if you sat them side by side, a slightly different roof shape, I've been told, for more aero. So they will look different, although they'll share similar badging.
Sure.
But I think that's going to be great. I think that's something BMW kind of didn't miss. I know they wanted to get their EV products out quickly, and the fastest way to do that is adapt an existing chassis to an electric vehicle. But I think now that they've had the R&D time, they're going to build some really fantastic electric cars that are just going to be next level from BMW. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, there's definitely the Neue Klasse. You guys need to watch out for the Neue Klasse. It's coming up soon. Like me and Jason have been talking about for the last 10, 15 minutes, it's just so much, new stuff coming our way, and we could not be more excited, obviously. And I think any of you guys that are looking to get into an electric car in general, let alone a smaller sized SUV, the iX30 is probably going to be your best bet. I don't see anything else, from Mercedes or Audi that's going to, in that price range to compete with us. So I'm really excited about that. So,
yeah, I'm excited to see the fast one. They're going to have one that's fast as hell.
The range too. We did real quick too. The range on this car, we're hearing that it's going to be 400 miles.
Actually, yeah.
So 400 miles of range. That's incredible. That's kind of what he was just touching on from a ground up standpoint, on its own platform. Even though it's still an X3, it's different, because it's made to be fully electric. That is something that you can see translate over more range, you know what I mean, versus the i4 having to share the same chassis and platform as the 4 Series. They can't make that battery fit, the way they want it to in terms of having more battery. Right?
And you got things like the transmission tunnel in those cars that don't really need to be there. And now BMW is smart and they utilize that space for battery. But yeah, this is going to be nice having a full platform just for EV. And it's going to also include our new faster charging architecture, which that's one of the biggest complaints, how long it takes. This is going to charge faster. So we're excited for it.
We're excited for it, yeah.
All right.
You were going to touch on the Nürburgring.
What do you want to hear? You do a topic now.
I was going to talk about real quick the fact that Ford's doing a big EV push right now.
Okay.
So Ford's doubling down and they're investing in new affordable EV lines. They're trying to have target models that are under 40,000 by 2027, and they're developing a new platform with LFP batteries, and they're repurposing its Kentucky plant with a $2 billion overhaul. So a $30,000 pickup is basically coming in 2027. So we were just talking about Bezos,
the slate truck.
The slate truck.
Yeah.
So if Ford's doing that, and we already have the Maverick 2, you know what I mean? That's pretty good, just like us bringing this iX3 in, a smaller car that's fully electric. They have the Lightning pickup. And honestly, I see a lot of Lightning pickups. I don't know about you. I see a ton of them on the road. I just saw maybe 2 or 3 actually on the
I got one pulling a big trailer and everybody says, oh, the range goes to junk as soon as you tow. But I mean, I've seen them in use and they seem to be pretty hot trucks. I see them a lot as work trucks now too. A lot of companies.
Number one selling truck being the F-150, Ford being the most popular truck brand. I think this is a great thing for them. My older brother, works for Ford, so I probably need to talk to him about this too, because he might have some information that we don't even have yet. But I think it's a good move, especially with the Bezos thing. That just adds more fire, you know what I mean? That spices things up. But yeah, I mean, if we're cutting costs that much, and if they have a Kentucky plant, obviously tariffs are here. Obviously, there are here. EV tax credits obviously are going away next month as well in September. And things are just going to change very drastically, especially from an economic standpoint with production and MSRPs and stuff like that. So I'm definitely excited to see what they do, though.
Yeah, I am too. And to hit on a little bit, to catch people up a little bit, one of the things, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of the slate truck. It's catching a lot of, right now in the media, it's getting a lot of articles written about it. So Jeff Bezos and a couple guys, I think Bezos is the financial backer, but they're bringing together to hit on your point, people have said, well, the problem with EVs is that they're too expensive. Even for the cheapest EV with the tax credits, they're still more expensive than a gas car of equivalent, size. And so people say, well, let's bring something to the market. And so Bezos launched, if you look it up, it's called the Slate Truck, and it's a very raw, basic, small EV truck, but it's modular in that you can actually turn the truck into an SUV, in that you can buy the top that goes over the back of the bed. They'll sell you the rear seats that mount in, and now you've got a full SUV enclosed. They'll even sell it with no radio, no infotainment, but then they'll sell you the iPad looking thing that clicks right onto the dash. Plug and play. Now you've got a big infotainment screen if you want it, but you can buy the truck literally as a blank slate, and that's what they call it. It has primer paint on it. They'll sell you wraps that you can, from the factory, put a wrap on it, but they also encourage you to go to companies and wrap it. You can go on their website and click through these different wrap designs of all these crazy wraps. And so I think it's going to be really interesting for young buyers that want an inexpensive truck that they can start at around $30,000. And as they get more money, add on different wheels, add in infotainment, more speakers, very inexpensively, plug and play, literally do it at home, buy the part, install it in their garage in minutes.
So crazy.
It's a very interesting concept. But what I'm wondering, and you hit on it a little bit, is that a lot of these prices I'm seeing for these inexpensive EVs, I'm sure Ford even now, the ones that those prices they're announcing, I'm wondering, are they factoring in the EV tax credit? Because Slate, they just got kicked in the teeth because they had been announcing their vehicle with the EV tax credit, it qualified, and it was a very inexpensive. But when you take that away, which we're being told this current administration, it's expiring at the end of September. Now, when you take that away, it's at a very similar price to that other small compact pickup by Ford, the Maverick, which is a gas car. Now, the proposition isn't as great. If they're about the same price, you're comparing a kind of a startup brand. Yeah, it's got Bezos back, but it's still a startup versus a well-known manufacturer, Ford, that has tons of resources and backing behind it. And if anything were to go wrong in 5 years, they're still in business. Slate could be gone. So it's one of those things where
it's like Tesla all over again. Yeah, right when Tesla became popular.
But I commend them because that is one of the things that they need to do is they need to make some inexpensive EVs. And that's going to happen just over time as R&D, comes down and the costs come down. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see that. I'm glad somebody like Ford is pushing it because they have the resources to invent new technologies that bring down the cost for everybody. When they swing that weight behind them, things happen. So
and also to add to that, these electric cars being, remodeled by their, most iconic car. That's something that's, we saw it with the Mustang. Obviously, it wasn't a Mustang like we would think it was.
Yeah.
But they still took that name, took that heritage, kind of the taillights, all the little things that made the Mustang over there. And they made it into that, crossover or really, its own platform of a car. And that's a really popular, EV that you see.
What's the full name? It's a Mustang. Do they call it the Mustang EV or what do they call it?
I think it's just the Mustang EV. I'll be honest.
So those that don't know, they took the Mustang brand, which had a lot of market cachet and brand recognition, the Mustang, and it pissed off a lot of the Mustang guys because they were like, what are you doing? But they made that new EV they have, which is really a four-door crossover. They're calling it the Mustang Mach-E.
Oh yeah,
what they call it. So they did that, and I don't know if that was the right move by brand. I understand why Ford did it. It has a lot of cachet. I know that car hasn't sold as well as they wanted it to, but
now they're doing it with the Camaro.
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen.
Camaro, and we just saw it with the Charger.
Oh yeah. Well, Dodge got a lot of Dodge has walked out a lot for a little bit. They're saying they're going to bring it back with a V8. You can still get an EV version.
So they're trying to do what Mercedes was already doing, and they're just like, ooh.
People want a choice. So
meanwhile, we're over here. We're still using our 6 cylinders. We're still using our 8 cylinders. And I was just telling Jason earlier with emissions, because remember, this is an emission thing too, right? Why are electric vehicles even becoming popular? Emissions. It's just emissions, basically. So BMW has already basically told everybody we're so far away from that threshold of max emissions on pretty much every single car that if you love BMWs, you have nothing to worry about in terms of watching our 6 cylinders go away and our 8 cylinders going away. So don't worry about that. Those are staying.
Oh, and now with the latest change in the administration and some of the regulations and laws that have changed, and who knows, they could just go back in a few years, but we're even more secure now in that the regulations have changed. A lot of manufacturers used to what they called buy EV credits. And for those of you who don't know, a manufacturer making a lot of high horsepower gasoline cars, they could go to an all electric brand like Rivian and Tesla and buy their EV credits from them. And that kept Rivian actually is in a tough financial position right now because they can no longer sell their EV credits because no one needs to buy them anymore. So part of that is the regulations that change. So I think we're going to keep seeing some performance stuff on the market. But who knows? I think we'll continue down the path of making them more and more efficient so that should things change in the future, we can still have these super efficient turbo 6s and 8s. But yeah, I think for a car guy right now, they're we're in a good spot.
We're in a great spot.
A lot of choice, a lot of performance. So, all right. So, one of the other topics I wanted to talk about from a performance guy, car guy perspective that I think everybody should be really excited about, and I think it's really a great thing that we are getting what we used to consider the old man's flex car, the Corvette. You'd see the guy that the old notorious meme or image of it was a guy in jean shorts, retired guy, flip flops, driving his red Corvette and taking it out on Sundays. And they weren't designed to be a performance car, anything other than kind of a muscle car. They can go around corners okay, sound good in a straight line, make a lot of noise, going decently fast. But let's talk about the two new additions, well, really 3 additions to the Nürburgring lap times. Sub 7 minutes is really where I want to talk about, because that has always been, for a production car, kind of the benchmark, the holy grail to get below 7 minutes. You've had the, Porsche GT3 RS, designed for one thing only, to be one of the fastest street legal cars around the Nordschleife. And it's always been a 649 car, which has been an incredible benchmark, anything below 7. And just recently, Ford came out, they started it, they launched the Ford GTD, which kind of always reminds me of the Golf GTD, the diesel, so I can't get that out of my head. Yeah. Well, I think what they were targeting was GT3. And really what the Ford GTD is, for people that don't know, it's a $350,000 Mustang. It was actually built by, it's actually a company that built, I'm blanking on the name right now. It's not actually built by Ford. It is under their design, but the same team that builds a lot of Ford's race cars and also built the most recent Ford GT, the big $600,000 Ford GT. It was made by the same company, and they designed this vehicle to go around the track as fast as possible. It's got active aero, just like all the Porsche GT3 cars, and it just did a 6-minute, 50-second time around the Nürburgring, which is insane for a front-engine Mustang-based vehicle. Although, when you look at it, it's clearly a Mustang, but almost no bits on the. I think
it looks incredible.
It probably shares the door handles and the side mirrors, but everything else,
it's so wide, it's so aggressive. Oh my God,
I believe you can see it. You can see right in through the fenders. I mean, it looks like a Porsche GT3 RS.
It looks like it costs $350,000.
It does. But then, so Chevrolet obviously did not, and they've been coming a long way. I think they saw that they needed to elevate the Corvette into the next level of performance, and they went mid-engine with the C8, which was a really smart idea. And we just saw the first, Z06 came, which is an incredibly fast car. And then we saw this new ZR1 and ZR1X come out. So what Chevrolet did right after Ford dropped their 650, they took the ZR1 to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and without professional race drivers, and I believe Ford used a pro driver, they set with just the engineers from Chevrolet, the Corvette engineers, a 649 on, which ties with the GT3. Then they came out with their all-wheel drive version of the ZR1, which also uses mild hybrid, and they did a 648.
Which is making 1,100 horsepower?
1,100 horsepower out of a turbocharged V8 with an all-wheel drive system and a performance hybrid in there.
Made over here.
It's insane to see something like that. It's just, I never thought we'd be talking about a day in which you'd have a GT3 RS competing with both a Mustang and a Corvette. I just never thought I'd see it.
It's unbelievable. It's crazy.
So to me, I'm excited. That means other people are going to start playing in this space. I hope. Now Ford, they're just going to say, well, we've got the Ford GT, but I hope that Ford does something with the Mustang to elevate it, maybe do a mid-engine version, maybe take it to the next level.
Well, we were just talking about the Mustang has always been the #1 selling sports car in the U.S. And now the last 2 years, 24 and 25, we've seen a decline in sales.
Yeah.
And that's just got to be from, the car being stagnant. It obviously got a redesign, but the redesign maybe wasn't enough for the client. Yeah. It's interesting. You know what I mean?
They went away from live rear axle, which, guys that drag race loved it, but they went independent rear suspension. But like you said, it kind of stagnated. So I think the next thing is you gotta go mid-engine. You gotta redesign that thing, and I think it could stick around and have a legendary life like Corvette. And I hope they do it, because as a car guy, I don't care who's making them. I just want fast cars available.
Exactly. Obviously, it needs to look good and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's incredible. The Nürburgring is no joke, especially with, trying to unveil a car to the world and show them how fast it truly is. And the fact that you're going against the GT3 RS, which is always the king of the department.
Yeah. Well, I just love that Ford and Chevrolet said, hey, listen, Porsche, I see what you guys are doing, and you guys have some big dollars behind you, but we're Ford, we're Chevy, we got the real big dollars. Look what we can do.
And they still make incredible cars.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the fact that they said, I'm going for it. Let's go for it. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
Really excited.
It makes me wish, we would do something like that. But it's okay. We had the CSL a few years ago. We'll get something cool again. Obviously, the CSL's basically half the price of those cars, but still, I mean, it went toe-to-toe with the Z06, so it's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fun question. What are some myths about BMW cars that are... Dude, I'm blanking right now.
That you wish drivers would stop believing.
That you wish drivers would stop believing. Okay. I mean, the biggest thing that stands out to me right off the bat is everyone thinking our cars are unreliable. I mean, that makes me want to beat my head through a wall. Like, I just want to run through something. Like, guys, our cars are so reliable nowadays that Toyota came to us in 2019 and said, hey, you guys make such a good engine in the B58 and our four-cylinder, the B48, that we want you to make our Supra with both of those engines in the platform. And better yet, the Z4 gave them the inspiration to do that. So that's like case closed there. I mean, if you look at our customer and I should say consumer reports, we are number 2 for the most part, always behind Subaru in every facet of owning a BMW or just a car. So some brands that you would think are number 1, like Toyota, are actually way down that list, and that's Toyota. So I'm not saying Toyota is not a great manufacturer. Obviously they are, and it still means a lot. Like I just mentioned, that they said, hey, come put your 2 best-selling motors for the most part in our car. It's a big deal, especially the Supra, if not the most iconic JDM car. So, I mean, it just drives me crazy. So, please give us a shot. The cars are amazing. If our cars were still unreliable, they would not be selling the way they sell now, and we wouldn't be sitting right here. So,
one of the myths that I think people have about BMW drivers that I wish they would not. Well, the old adage that we don't use our blinkers and we like to park crooked. I think that's BS. I like to use my blinker all the time, but that seems to be the big myth, that the BMW drivers never use their blinker, but we do. At least those of us that like to drive around a little quickly, we do. I like to let people know I'm coming over.
Yeah. I mean, it's normal, man. You're driving a fun car. You're driving a sporty car. Obviously, you're going to have some spirited driving where you're not using your blinker, maybe because you have to leave a little bit, or maybe you're in a rush and you park, bad. Obviously, I personally don't do that. I'm sure you don't either, Jason. But that is a good one. I guess people think that we're just hotheads.
So somehow it became a thing that BMW drivers don't use their blinker.
We're just hotheads, people. I don't know I don't know. They think we're like pompous or something. No, so
I wish that one would go away.
Yeah, that one needs to go away too. But the reliability drives me nuts.
So if you're driving a BMW, please use your blinker to help us dispel this myth.
Also, take care of your car. You don't want your car to be unreliable? Service it when it needs to be serviced. Take care of it. It's that simple.
Deferred maintenance, as they call it.
You
don't do that.
It's not 2001 anymore. You're not going to have some...
save the money.
You're not going to have some issues with the rod bearings and whatever else we've dealt with all the way up until basically 2014. So, guys, our cars are great. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for checking us out from another episode here at Chapman Chats. We look forward to bringing you some more. Hit us up with some questions in the comments. We'll try and get to them if we can and get you some answers. Check us out on social medias, CarNutAZ.
Bronson Chapman.
There you go. We'll see you guys around.